Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and I am back with another 12 by 12 layout using my homemade stash kit for November. So I did have to pull this paper from Simple Stories out of my stash. It wasn't in the kit, but this is a companion page to the previous layout that I made, and I used the same paper, and I have 25 pieces of this, so I'll be using it a lot. Now I am just going to fold this corner down and add a couple staples to keep it down. It exposes the beautiful yellow on the other side and allows me to add this beautiful 6x6 paper with ombre gray polka dots and a little yellow border. I love it. And Christina from Define Creatives, this is one of the things I've seen her do a lot, and I love it. It always turns out great. So I did want to save some of that paper, and so I just trimmed it off, and I will use that on this layout as well. Now I am going through my stash, and I am grabbing 3 Heidi Swap Color Shine Mists, one in navy, one in sweet mint, and one in yellow. And I'm just showing you my invitation for my son's 13th birthday party. They went paintballing, so I made those little invitations. And these were the colors I used. So I started with the yellow. I'm just splattering, and then I add a few direct sprays as if the paintball had actually like exploded on the paper. And I only do it with the yellow. I thought that it would be probably a little too much with the other colors, but I like how that looks. So I will hit it with my heat tool for a little bit, just so that I can kind of get an idea of what my next plan is, and then I just set it over to the side to dry completely. Because it seems like the splatters dry pretty well with the heat gun, but then when you actually spray on it, it takes a lot longer. So these are the scraps from the 6x6 Fancy Pants paper pad that I picked out for my stash kit. And they're kind of the cutoffs from the previous layout, and I'm just adding them with layers. Now I started with the black because you can see on the invitation that the invitation was outlined in black. So I wanted to pull that same idea so they kind of match or coordinate together. Now this is that extra piece of paper that I put in the corner, and because I just cut it, it was a little wonky, so I had to make it straight. And I am a little obsessed with some straight lines sometimes. So my trimmer is like my #1 tool. I use it all of the time. This trimmer is super old. I've had it since I first started scrapbooking back in 03. So that is going on my Christmas list to my husband as far as something. I don't know if I put it on my need or my want list, because I kind of need it, but the other one works still. Anyway, back to the layout. So this is a little bit different for me. So normally I like everything kind of staggered as far as my layers are concerned, but I really wanted it to look like it was one perfect square layer when I was done, even though it was all different papers. So I am going to add this beautiful bag that I received from Sarah Scraps, and I'm just going to attach that to the back of the picture, and that's where I'm going to put my journaling. Now, I am really not a good journaler. Let's just be honest. There's probably hundreds of layouts that I have made over the past many years that don't get journaling, because that's not the fun part for me, unfortunately. But I am learning that that really is a very important part, because my kids look back and they pull out the tags and they want to read about it. So I will be doing that. So I'm going to add these paper clips from Maya Rose. They're little feathers. They're super cute. And when I took that one off, I actually jigged myself with my scissors, so I had to turn it off and go get a Band-Aid so I didn't get blood all over the layout. Because no blood was shed during his little birthday party, so it wouldn't have been appropriate. So I am going to do 2 clusters. The first cluster is up in the top and the other one is down by the invitation. And they are going to consist of the acetate arrows. I'm going to pull these cute little stars from this paper embellishment kit from Hobby Lobby. And then I am also going to add some cork arrows, which you'll see shortly. And my title I thought was appropriate to put Stay Wild. And then I saw this Dear Lizzie, literally, and the yellows are perfect together. So I thought, oh, that's kind of a fun title for a 13-year-old birthday party, literally Stay Wild. And they were out in the wild. So I'm going to go through this packet from K & Company, and it's a ton of stuff. But I find the problem is most of the items are a creamy base, and my layout is a very white base layout. And I am not a big fan of white and cream together. I know some of you out there can do it, but I cringe a little bit when I do it on my layouts, because I have seen other people and they can put the two together and it's beautiful. So I just haven't mastered that for sure. As far as adhering the acetate, I prefer Staples. I like the texture that it adds. Plus, I don't have to worry about seeing the tape behind it. Now, this Stay Wild, I think is a little plain. So I'm going to add the mists. And I do some splatter, some spraying, and I dry it, and then I add a little bit more. So this is what it looks like when I'm all done, and I am very happy with it. I love how it looks. It just brings in more of that look of paintball, which is what the page is all about. So I'm just going to take my fine line bottle and put a little glue on the back. Sorry about my dog. Hold on. So it didn't really want to stick so much, so I had to just put my stapler down to let it adhere a little bit. So now I'm going to make my journaling tag, and I'm just going to cut a piece of 6x6 paper. I'm going to trim a corner off, and then I'm going to flip it over so that the other corner is exactly the same. And I was too lazy to get a hole punch out, so I'm just going to take some baker's twine and the stapler that's still on my desk. And that is where my journaling is going to go. And that is going to complete the layout. So I've got some close-ups coming up. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to subscribe. And I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun making it. So remember, wear your crown, and I will see you next time.